So,
Right.
this week I was able to play around with GPT-5 a little bit.
I mean, the way it works in corporate world is they are partners, trusted partners. Like AWS is a partner, like that everybody's a partner, right? They work with them ahead of time, like few months or
Mm.
years ahead of time, even sometimes, right? So
Another thing, yeah, I saw in the announcement they were heavily leaning into using Cursor with GPT-5. They never mentioned like Windsurf or anything like that. They exclusively went for like we're working with Cursor and
That is another thing. And once your quota runs out, then Cursor starts charging you the API pricing of
oh,
that model.
as far as I pay, it is available for me
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
use, right? And
That
coding
is very
class,
good thing.
I heard coding is because is that true, guys? I mean, have you played? You know, Karthik mentioned about coding, but Lavneet, the same thing.
But like I think like how it's like now integrated in Cursor and everything like the
It's like a collection of, you should be looking at it like, I believe it's like a collection of models, and it is smart enough to know, okay, Lavneet is asking me this question, can it be done quicker or does it need deeper thinking? And it makes the choices. Previously folks have to go and say, I want reasoning model, you have
yeah.
to force the thinking.
another thing is that with all like the UI for everything that it codes, now with the old models, I think there was a YouTube video that I saw where it was
But like
five, like the full model, that's around I think $10 per million tokens.
I don't think they have accepted the reality that the the it's becoming a commodity at this point.
That brings up another point is that just like how Claude was on Bedrock, now I think OpenAI open source some of their models onto Bedrock as well, right?
It's like comparative to all the big models, right? Even the paid models, and people started using it. The economic benefit of using an open source model where you can have your own data, you
Right.
run locally, you control everything. I think
But
that is like too great.
give this researcher 1.2 billion dollars to join the company, literally, right? I've read somewhere they were paying 1.2
1.2.
billion
Welcome
dollars.
Have
back
you?
to the AI Tripod podcast. So,
Right.
this week I was able to play around with GPT-5 a little bit.
Yeah.
What I mainly saw though was that like it was good at coding and like writing like English language more intriguing than the last model, but like everything else was pretty much the same. I don't know what you guys sort of know about GPT-5 so far.
Yeah. I think like have you seen that now marketing has gone so good for these models? Like now what happens is like every time a new model comes in, all the tools already have it. Like, as soon as it is launched, I think within the 20 minutes or something, every other product, like, just goes on say, we have GPT-5 here now.
I mean, the way it works in corporate world is they are partners, trusted partners. Like AWS is a partner, like that everybody's a partner, right? They work with them ahead of time, like few months or
Mm.
years ahead of time, even sometimes, right? So they
Mhm.
all work together and they release it, go to market strategy, right? They just release it, and that's how it feels like. How come Cursor has it?
Yeah,
Has it? Everybody
yeah,
has it. That's
Also,
not by
another
mistake.
thing is
They
that
already kind of worked with them.
another thing, yeah, I saw in the announcement they were heavily leaning into using Cursor with GPT-5. They never mentioned like Windsurf or anything like that. They exclusively went for like we're working with Cursor, and Cursor is the first one to have GPT-5 in it. Like they went heavy
yeah.
into that collaboration inside that one event.
And the thing is, like, I was using Cursor for one of my projects. I just like got a small, I think, pop-up that says, "Oh, GPT-5 is here now with GPT High, GPT, all of its versions, and now you also get free credits." So I'm like,
Oh,
"Oh, okay,
hey, how
now I
much?
can try to use it."
Like, guys, what is the situation with the quotas, the token quotas? Is it less running in people running into problems, or is it like you have enough quotas to play with
So
it?
I think what I've seen is like they give you like a normal credit of like to $20 of like API calls.
Hmm.
Like if you're using, some normal any specific method or model yourself and not selecting the auto one. That is another thing. And once your quota runs out, then Cursor starts charging you the API pricing of
Oh,
that model.
as far as I pay, it is available for me
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
use, right? And
That
coding
is very
class,
good thing.
I heard coding is because, is that true, guys? I mean, have you played? You know, Karthik mentioned about coding, but Lavneet, the same
Well,
thing
I
you
have
saw with coding?
noticed one thing though when I was coding
Yeah,
with it. It always tends to use like MetaMask for some reason for everything,
MetaMask.
and then it keeps on saying that it's an error with it, and then retracts back again and removes it. but every single time it tends to use it and then go back and be like, no, 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 that was wrong. Let me go back and like delete it. So every time you have to do that, and I also noticed another thing is that when you code something on it and you do like a revision of it and you try to start up the like preview of it again, it takes forever for that preview to load. Like if you
Oh.
do it once, change something, and then restart it back up again, it takes forever to get it back up and running.
I see.
You mean like on the ChatGPT
On the
platform? Like,
chatgpt.com itself, like their front end.
okay,
I
okay.
noticed that a lot.
And the cool thing is now you can run the code as an interpreter, right? The code interpreter part of that platform.
I mean, another thing is
Yeah,
that that little slowness that I mentioned might have been also the internet like speed maybe, because on their demo it did it instantly, but again they probably have really really fast internet that they have for
yeah,
the
that can
demo,
be true.
so that could be it as well. But I think it has to
The
do
But
with
other thing you showed me today that was impressive was the ability to revert back changes and manage it, export code. There are a few nice little features that might help developers. I think I
yeah,
like that part too.
but like I think like how it's like now integrated in cursor and everything. Like the I didn't feel that much difference
Hmm.
in like how the quality of code was with the projects like I'm working on. But I think like in some areas where I wanted to like get a bit more into depth, like there was like very like I think my very concentrated like very niche thing that I was trying to do was like I was trying to create Notion pages
Ah.
from like just a Python script kind of for myself to
Oh.
export data and everything. Uh, I mean, it would have taken me 2 or 3 hours to do that at max, but I was like, no, let's automate that. So I
Hmm.
spent two hours just automating that, and I was like stuck with like some other models. It was taking me a lot of time to go back and forth. But with this GPT-5, that was like way quicker. I think within 15 minutes, I was like, okay,
See,
done.
now the funny part is even 2 hours feels like a lot. It's funny that you mentioned, right? Even
Yeah,
2 hours feels like a lot, right? You
yeah,
wanted minutes and seconds nowadays, right? The other thing, guys, is fundamentally the architecture, from what I understand, is it's like a collection of, you should be looking at it like, I believe it's like a collection of models, and it is smart enough to know, okay, Lavneet is asking me this question, can it be done quicker or does it need deeper thinking? And it makes the choices. Previously folks have to go and say, I want reasoning model, you have
yeah,
to force the thinking. Now
yeah, yeah,
human brain, right, it's like automatically decides what to do.
yeah,
That's a big thing,
another
right?
thing is that with all like the UI for everything that it codes, now with the old models, I think there was a YouTube video that I saw where somebody wanted like a chess app made before with GPT 4.0, and when it ran with like 4.0 mini high or whatever was the best coding model then, it like did exactly what the user asked for and nothing more, nothing less, exactly what they asked for. But this version added some of the nicer features to it. It knew that like in order to make it feel premium, it needs like this feature, and this feature. So it kind of added that in. A lot of the nicer features got added in automatically instead of having to be directly prompted
yeah.
to add something into
I
there.
think they like I mean I think now they are at this point that they are considering user experience more than just like the raw ability to just crush the benchmarks. I think that's
Correct.
what they are like they thinking towards more, and like how they like the whole idea of like having multiple AI models and it selecting itself is like basically based on just the user experience itself.
Some
And
of the industry stalwarts like Andrew Yang from Stanford, right? They've repeatedly said the play is now in the application layer. That's where the focus is, right? The models
yeah,
are become commoditized, and how much can you
yeah,
train? I think training cutoff was still September 2024. Karthik looked it up in the morning. I was asking him, okay, what is the cutoff time for GPT-5, right? Right, Karthik? Wasn't it like September 2024? Something like
I
that?
believe right, it was September 30th, 2024 was the
Yeah,
cut.
so like a year, almost like a year ago, right? So that like Lavneet, like you said, right? It's the user experience, it's that application layer,
yeah,
and that's where people are going to be pouring energy into. That's the differentiator.
yeah. I mean, that's why I think the chatgpt.com, like, the proper official like product layer, the
Correct.
OpenAI, I think they also like, introduce that memories feature.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
It
you
now
remember
knows
that,
you,
right?
right? Like what from
Yeah,
what you did
yeah.
before. That's amazing. And the people who have been passionate about AGI is terribly disappointed. I was looking at in LinkedIn where people are like, nah, this is like nothing. Then I just posted something just a few minutes ago where I said, yeah, guys, GPT-4, 5 are all lipstick over the same pig that I call, and the pig is transformer architecture, right? As far as the pig is the same, there's nothing that's going to happen. You're not going to go to AGI with that architecture, right? So it's got to be what is called as the world model that Jan Lee,
Mm-hmm.
our meta scientist talks about, right? And saying it
Mm-hmm.
needs to understand the world, right, using videos and multimodal, not just text, not only language, large language models.
I think this ChatGPT 5 is not multimodal by native, like, right?
That's a good
From
question.
the ground
Uh,
up.
I did not,
Um,
it just generates images too, I
no,
believe.
it
So,
does generate images, and you can upload images, and you can use the
But
voice, all of those
but
on.
like the thing is like it can't take video input as native, right?
I haven't
Because
tried
how
that out with it yet.
because
I have
I
not.
like searched about it, like, and I mean that's what I know. I'm not sure if this is correct or not, but it said that it is not multimodal by uh, from ground up. It's not multimodal. So what happens is if you upload a video or something, it like transcribes it and then it can do all the processing and everything. But how Gemini does it is it's
Hmm.
like multimodal from like ground up, and it actually is able to analyze the video and everything in between, that
Right.
kind of thing. So I still think that Gemini models in some ways are like at least from like, because I don't think they because this is the latest model, that the training might be better, the user experience, because they are now going towards a more product facing way. But how Gemini is doing is that it's from ground up, multimodal. It can analyze video. And like another thing, guys, I've seen it. Have you guys seen about the JSON mode or something, where what happens in the models, you explicitly define the schema, and it will return the
Structured
schema.
output. You're talking about structured output, how good it is to give a
Yeah,
structured
yeah, yeah,
output, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
another thing we cannot forget is the context length, right? So
yeah,
Gemini has a much more bigger context length
yeah.
than ChatGPT-5, and it's about context engineering and what
Uh,
you can do
uh,
within that context length, cost,
Yeah, yeah.
etc. Right?
which during the event, I did pay attention to the pricing part when they went all the way at the end to say the pricing of all the models. I think GPT-5, like the full model, that's around, I think, $10 per million tokens.
Hmm.
I think GBT Mini is like, I forgot, I think it was like, it wasn't really cheap. It was a couple dollars per like a million tokens. And then GBT Nano was like 40 cents per million tokens. So that was like the pricing of their whole GPT-5, like the whole, like the models. So it is quite,
Mm.
it's almost kind of expensive with like other models.
But if you guys see like how, comparison to Claude models, the pricing is still like, I think, better than that.
Claude is the Mercedes Benz, right?
Yeah,
In that area still, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
I think Claude hasn't entered the race of like, I don't think they have accepted the reality that the the it's becoming a commodity at this point. So I think
Yeah.
that's like what's happening
Also,
there.
that brings up another point is that just like how Claude was on Bedrock, now I think OpenAI open source some of their models onto Bedrock as well, right?
yeah, that is
Yeah.
pretty cool. I was very excited to see that come to Bedrock, the open source models from OpenAI, right? See, the AWS CEO, Matt Gorman, right, a while ago did talk about it. And somebody asked him a question, are you going to allow OpenAI to come to AWS platforms? And his answer was yes. I think it must have been 2 years since he made that comment, and that came true now, right? So the timing was right when they open sourced this, and Bedrock was one of them that got it. I'm still yet to honestly yet to play with it and see. I don't know, Lavneet, have you had a chance to play with the
I
open
haven't played, but I've read the analysis on that, and it says that it is better than Claude 4
Claude
in
what?
some
Four
Claude 4,
point
4
Claude.
Sonnet,
Okay,
Claude 4 Sonnet.
that's good.
In some parts, that is very good. Like the price is like $0.10 or something
Karthik,
output.
actually, Lavneet, there are two models on Karthik, right? So 120 billion and the other one was 20. Like one was meant
Yeah,
for smaller edge devices. The other
yeah,
one was the bigger model. So you're talking
yeah.
about
The
the
bigger
bigger
model,
model comparing
the
against
bigger
smaller.
model. Yeah.
How about edge? Like that's another use case we never talk about,
Yeah, yeah,
right? On the edge, phones.
yeah. And I mean, like, I think that is another, like, I think very good thing. Like, I mean, now, and I don't think that this is a very, a bad, like, from any point of view, this is not a bad open source model at all. It's like comparative to all the big models, right? Even the paid models, which are like proprietary at this point. But having these models now, I think gives uh, you know uh, OpenAI the leverage to
But
actually steer industry.
why do you guys think OpenAI is doing this?
I think DeepSeek is the reason.
You think so?
Yeah.
They force them to move in this
Yep. Yep.
direction. And
Yeah.
do you think they will continue to move and completely become really open?
I highly doubt that.
Yeah. I think they will just do the bare minimum they need to do.
So
I
they're
think they'll
trying to
just do,
make
yeah,
a.
exactly the bare minimum
I
to
see.
count
So,
as
so,
like
so
open
it's
source.
you guys are thinking it's for marketing stunt or for polish, saying, "Hey, we are open sourcing too," kind of thing. Is that what you think those guys are doing?
Maybe, but I think there's like a more deeper thing here because you saw that how DeepSeek released its model, like there was a lot of like people saying doubting and everything, but slowly companies started integrating it and people started using it. The economic benefit of using an open source model where you can have your own data, you
Right.
run locally, you control everything. I think
But
that is like too great.
AI, has so much in funding that they have received and everything. What would be the revenue? Like, I can for Meta, I can understand they are doing it and they're incorporating into their products and they're able to package it and do all of that stuff, right? So my question is, if there's no viable business model for
But
OpenAI.
I think like how Meta is able to justify their like lab is like how because they can now because once the thing gets open source, all the developers and all the ecosystem starts building
Exactly.
towards that model, and like that itself has some influence in it.
Hmm.
That's why I think DeepSeek was also like uh, also released its models because
Right.
the person who controls like the more one things gets adopted, the
Yeah,
more like
you kind of use the word. It's about the control. Now, whoever
yeah,
controls the AI platform and developers control the destiny, kind of thing, the future,
yeah,
pretty much,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's all
yeah,
about control. Now,
yeah,
not about
yeah,
revenue. The revenue and money will come later, but now it's
yeah.
give this researcher $1.2 billion to join the company. Literally, right? I've read somewhere they were paying $1.2
1.2
billion dollars.
billion.
Yeah,
Not million. I'm talking about B as in billion to join Meta, right? So so that means look at the potential of what is waiting out there, right?
Yeah,
So you guys should all be looking at it, man. We don't know. You guys could become billionaires by just joining
yeah, I
something like
think
that, and you're done for life.
yeah,
yeah.
I care about all of this. Anyway,
Mm.
that's it's interesting though. It's just so interesting. Every day is something cool going on out there.
But have you guys like I actually read an article recently regarding how to create the agents like more effectively.
Ah,
Because like I've been working on like some of the projects and everything. There were like a few articles how like how these like I mean we because as developers we have experience in like we have experienced that flow that happens when we are coding when we are planning everything that happens at that in that one IDE, and we are able to do things much more faster. So like how that flow goes. So I was just trying to read how that works. There's a lot of like things like small things that we don't think that much.
like what? Give me more.
Like think about like there's this like I think idea about let's just say a decision node,
Hmm?
then execution, and then testing if that execution has been done or not.
Correct.
This like the whole flow. So what happens is if you have given an AI a tool, let's just say it needs to edit a file, right? So
Hmm.
first of all, it needs to decide what should be the action. Should it use the tool or not?
Correct.
And in that action, okay, that user has requested that that file should be changed. Based off of that, a tool needs to be triggered, right? Once that tool is triggered, what is the status then? After that is done, then it has to, again decide that if the task was completed or not. If the task was completed, then okay, it has to say it was succeeded. If a task was not completed, then it again has to go and retry.
Right.
This whole loop, going on again and again, I thought was very interesting.
The
How,
thing here is, see, this could be coded in different way. You could
yeah,
code exactly what you said in an if then else statement, empirical
yeah,
coding. You
yeah,
can code it, right? But what
yeah,
you talked about with agents is agentic behavior, right? So we
yeah,
just give these tools to the agent and describe the tools to the agent, and then we say,
yeah,
here is your goal. We don't tell how.
yeah,
That's the key,
yeah,
right? Here is the goal, and agent figures out this may be a smarter way to do it. Let me go take
yeah,
this tool, and do it. That's agentic. That's the power.
yeah. And the ability to make decisions,
Exactly.
okay, that this problem needs this tool, this
Correct.
needs this tool.
Yep.
That is I was just like seeing it through, and I was amazed that I think there is still a lot of potential of applications to be built upon to, solve real world problems based on just this concept of
Exactly.
like
We are
having,
just at the cusp, beginning stages of agentic AI boom. Next year, it'll be like billions of agents running around all over the
Is
place.
is that like of course you guys are talking about like the most coding agent like deep into that. But as far as the other side of the whole OpenAI agentic AI is their new like agents on the front end of ChatGPT, ChatGPT.com. But I think as far as that those type of agents go, they've limited a lot though. All it can do is like for example, I took it for a test ride the other day, and I said go book a reservation for one at PF Chang's at this specific location online and make sure it's at 7:45 p.m. on this specific day. And it went to the website, did the whole thing. Well, one thing is that it couldn't store the information for like what my name was, that what the email needed to be, what the phone number was. It didn't store that and use it, which it already kind of already had from like previous memory it had that, but it didn't use that. Another thing is that it refused to click the confirm button until I explicitly like said it a couple of times. Click the confirmation button, confirm it for me. Yes, I confirmed it.
That's on purpose, I think, Karthik.
yeah,
That may be on purpose.
yeah,
Yeah, because they blocked it from those more sensitive operations, like if it's
yeah.
confirming something or sending off something, it does everything except that, and then it waits for your confirmation just for that last part.
The funny part is I didn't know you were doing it, and it was alerting me that somebody was trying to do PF Chang's setup and dinner. I'm like, some agent woke up and I was just scared. I was just doing all of this on my behalf. Then I was so happy to know that you are the one who initiated it.
Yeah,
So
because I told
as
it to
that.
go book a of course I canceled it afterwards, but I told it to go book a reservation for one at this PF. It did everything properly. Then it asked, okay, what's your name, email, phone number, and then after that it like hit submit. But it was interesting that I wasn't able to save like the number and name and everything. Considering it's already in your account, I'm curious why they haven't.
Maybe when you're requesting Karthik, if you said use my details from my past history to do this stuff, might have pondered it to go and look in the
But
memory,
I
right?
think it's also like security and issues, right? They are
Yeah,
like still
mainly
like
that.
untested waters here. There's like no standards to do this right now. But I
Uh,
think this will change much more with local models, how they open source that model, and that is like actually very good. What do
I
you guys
mean,
think about that? Like,
I saw on like the chatgpt.com, it says like more coming to agents on like August 24th, and it has like 11
oh,
days left or something like that. So I'm curious what they're like hinting at there to be added, but
okay,
there is something coming there August 24th, they said. So
uh,
pretty soon here.
Lavneet, when you're talking about local agents, you're talking about agents running on a laptop and phone,
yeah,
right?
laptop and phone, yeah,
Laptop
yeah,
and phone. Okay. I mean,
yeah,
you know where that will make a lot of sense when privacy is involved. When I have my,
yeah,
let's say I have all my financial and tax information, right? I'm not yet comfortable sending my tax returns to ChatGPT or any other cloud provider for that matter, right? I want to do something, but I want to do it, right? So I can run it locally in my machine.
yeah,
I can see startups building products like that they can
yeah,
guarantee to locally install on your
yeah,
Mac
yeah,
or your desktop, whatever,
yeah,
and run it.
Yeah, even
yeah,
like companies like TurboTax. Imagine if they just built like a local agentic AI that doesn't send it to any other servers,
Yeah.
it grabs all your
I
tax
mean, yeah, I
information.
think that is actually a very good like idea to actually, because I think now you don't. I mean, There may be some things that you need to look at it, but most of the things can be done.
Yeah,
Like
TurboTax
it
is a good
exists today.
example, Karthik, and I'm expecting TurboTax to do this. Actually, not if they're doing it right, they have to do something like this and bring that intelligence there, and even increase that whole tax, enhance the tax filing experience.
Yeah, and what I've been using the agents for, other than just testing it around, like, oh, book this, because that's the examples that ChatGPT gives on their website, is like, oh, go book this for me, get a reservation here. Another thing I've been trying to like get it to do is those long-winded tasks, like going out and like researching these few articles, combining them into one PDF and giving it back, that sort of thing. It
Oh,
tends to be a little bit better at that than like research even was, because research, it takes it, but it more summarizes it into like a report rather than like combining PDFs, doing that sort of thing. I've been using it for that as well, because
I
that's
see.
the stuff that takes a lot of time.
I see. Hey, have you guys played with the MCP and GPT-5?
Not MCP plus GPT-5, but I did with MCP with Claude, but that experience was very good.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm. Hmm.
I tried doing Claude with Notion. So like whatever research I was doing, I was like just gave it and it created like some tables for me and everything. That kind of thing I tried.
But
And
I
that was very good.
I
Yeah,
see.
because I was
But
using them for
GPT-5 is
notes on my
capable of
phone.
MCP though, right? It can integrate with MCP too, right?
Has the
I think
connectors.
so.
It
I'm
has
not
like the
sure.
connectors that they've enabled on chatgpt.com, as in like you can connect it with Gmail, Google Calendar. But I
Hmm.
on the announcement as well, I remember them announcing that like it's not just like looking at your calendar, it can now perform actions within your calendar if you connect it and you allow it to do so. Like for example, if you wanted to like reschedule a meeting, it could go in there, find that meeting and reschedule it and send out the notification to
But
everyone who's
how
involved.
many times do you think that it does things correctly? Because in past apps experienced like, things that it doesn't work that well. Like even with MCPs, like,
I
so
think
certain
now
MCPs.
they've like revamped that a little bit to be a little bit more accurate when it was doing like the sort of
Mm,
connection task, as they call it, not the MCP, the connectors. So
mm.
yeah, I think they've made it more accurate.
Well, there's a lot of exciting topics going on, and we can keep going on and on and on. Like if all of us are here, we'll talk about the whole day about what's going on here, right? So I guess we will, next upcoming week is a pretty exciting week as well. What's in store, and I'm looking
Even
forward to
like
this
just
week.
next week, but the week afterwards, potentially we'll get some new stuff in deep research and in agents. So we'll see what ChatGPT is kind of cooking up there that week.
Not only ChatGPT, like ChatGPT does it, there are already people working on it. You never know, right? So let's keep our eyes and ears open and look for that excitement. Cool.
Bye guys.
All right,
Take
yeah.
care.
All
Bye.
right,
See
see you
you.
later. Bye.